So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 114,400 US dollars. Wow, nothing has changed at all compared to yesterday, so we're still within our range. Last night we made another attempt to break through the level up here at around 115,700 US dollars. Unfortunately, we didn't manage it again, just another wick up here. But at the moment, it has to be said the trend that's slowly emerging here is at least still intact. Still, don't forget we still have our bearish scenario to the downside. Where I see further long entries, you'll definitely find out in the video. Also, what's going on with Ethereum? How are things looking with the stock markets and of course with our Forex trade as well? All of that now in the video. And just a quick reminder, tonight at 7 o'clock, as always, our live stream on YouTube, Twitch, and of course Kick. Feel free to join us. I'll post the link for you all later in the Telegram group. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course feel free to join the free Telegram talk and signal group. If you're interested in updates, news and signals, feel free to join. The link is also down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, you can of course do it all on my partner exchange BingX. Currently, you can still get up to 10% cashback on your first deposit. This doesn't just apply to new users, but to all users, so in the end you'll also get bonus vouchers if you want to deposit euros here. Alright. So Bitcoin at 114,400 US dollars, basically almost the same as what we had yesterday. We got rejected. There was another pullback overnight, at least in the last few hours, also on the hourly chart, without really much volume. But at the moment, we just can't manage to break above the 115,700 US dollar mark. But that could change over the course of today because there are still some news releases coming out. Especially, come on, load already. There we go, finally. Because the initial and continuing jobless claims in the US are coming out, which have gotten a bit more attention in recent weeks due to the Fed's interest rate decision. And since the other unemployment figures were revised down a bit, as well as job numbers being revised down, yeah, so today we should pay a bit more attention to that. Then productivity outside of agriculture will also be released, and that's about it. And tonight, Donald Trump will be speaking again, just like pretty much every day lately, and somehow there's always something new coming out of it. But all right, let's see. And also not to be overlooked at 10:30 p.m., the Fed's balance sheet. So today could actually bring a bit more volatility. That's why it's definitely important to hedge your positions. For me, the long options for Bitcoin are still this, red box down here. We've already talked about how a nice bullish divergence down here would basically be the perfect scenario. Even though at this point you have to say it's becoming a bit less likely since we've already had this move upwards. Right now, we're simply in this accumulation phase. If we were to go down again here, it wouldn't be a textbook, double bottom pattern. That's why you have to be a bit cautious here. Still, for me, down here is the zone. 112,000 down to just below 110,000 US dollars, where I could see myself opening a long position. Otherwise, for now, I'll keep my distance here and focus more on the altcoins. We can actually take a look over there right now. But before we do, let's quickly check the funding rates. Completely normal for Bitcoin. So here again, they've risen slightly. We can see here, compared to yesterday, there's clearly more white than green. That means the funding rates have increased, and so there are a few more longs in play again. And heat map, same story. To the upside, our cluster is now already between 116 and just under 118,000 US dollars. That means this cluster, which we had up here at 120 the whole time, has shifted down a bit on the weekly view. Let's take another look at this on the 2-week view, so we have a bit of a backup test. But the cluster is still there. That means everything above us now is essentially short liquidations, and it still fits with our assumed overarching target. But for me personally, jumping in long here is a bit too risky. That's why I'm either waiting for us to go down here or to open a small short position up here. Let's move over to Ethereum. What's happening there? Not really much. So there too, we're still generally moving upwards. We've now reached our short area here for the second time. But you have to say this short area is now invalid. I already mentioned that in yesterday's video, or rather repeatedly. If we enter it once, it's usually invalid, especially if we then get this move upwards here. But as I said, the position shouldn't have been stopped out yet, because we stopped again here just before the golden pocket. That means at the moment, the position is probably still running for everyone who's in it. Still, as I already said yesterday and the day before, take profits, set your stop loss to entry, and that's it. The chance that we'll come down here is becoming more and more likely at the moment, because if we take a look, we'd have to see an 11% dump. That means for me, this scenario is now off the table for the time being. We're now waiting here for new entry opportunities that might arise, depending on whether the numbers this afternoon turn out to be bad or if any news comes out this evening. We'll take another calm look at all of this during the live stream. Solana, same story. Here too, there aren't really any significant moves, I'd say, at this point. Here, I'm actually more convinced that we'll still get our double bottom. But otherwise, at the moment, everything here is a bit more sideways, so there aren't any real impulses anywhere. We don't see any real setups that we could enter here. But we can quickly take another look because I already mentioned XLP yesterday. The position was taken after all. I think we already mentioned that in yesterday's video. The 0.5 level was reached and down to the golden pocket would have still been the buy zone pump, but I already wrote in the Telegram group yesterday to secure and lock in profits. That's simply because I don't really trust the market at the moment and don't know which direction it's going to go 100%. So definitely secure XRP here and take profits. Just play it safe at this point. All right, let's move over to the Forex markets. What's happening there? The euro is basically following the path we predicted yesterday, where I suspected we might go a bit higher here. We're now through the golden pocket. We're at the 200 SMA on the 4-hour chart. We definitely still have some room here to push the euro a bit further, or rather for the US dollar to weaken so the euro can still rise a bit more. All still within the expected range, in my opinion. Above all, we need to see what the numbers look like this afternoon. That could still lead to the euro becoming significantly weaker in the end, or if Trump comes out with something again, something that would actually be positive for the dollar. But at the moment, it's neither here nor there. But as I said, this is still the short area here, so again, no change. Traditional markets, DAX, yes, no change at all. Still haven't reached the golden pocket. You can see that quite well here. So not much is really happening at the moment either. Nasdaq, okay, is pumping, but that's also because Nvidia pumped again yesterday, but still not back at all-time high levels. Dow Jones still at the 0.5 level in this short area. So again, no movement. So as you can see, the market is currently very, very quiet, and even gold is still having a bit of a hard time here. Gold looks almost exactly the same as the Dow Jones, if you remember the chart from just now. But otherwise, it's very, very quiet as far as all this is concerned. There are opportunities. There are still chances that we might see some kind of altcoin season or something like that. The trading opportunities are definitely still there. Altcoins still have potential, especially stronger projects like Ondo, Sui, and the like. But for the broader market right now, that upswing is kind of missing. The ETFs are selling off a bit more again. Yesterday, I think about 2,400 Bitcoin or so were taken out of the ETFs again. That's not really a lot, so there's no need to dramatize it because BlackRock still, or rather BlackRock's ETF still holds 737,000 BTC. That's, I think, 3,000 or 4,000 less than the all-time high, so no reason to panic, profit taking and so on. That kind of thing is also done by these people on the way up, but it's very quiet right now. We have to wait and see what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin makes a move, or actually I would even hope more for an Ethereum breakout among the altcoins, that Ethereum leads the way and then the altcoins follow. That's what we should be watching for. The rest is irrelevant for now. Otherwise, feel free to join us tonight at 7 o'clock on YouTube, where we'll also be taking altcoin requests, doing Bitcoin analysis, chatting a bit off topic, and so on. I'd love to see you there. And otherwise, I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group, and we'll catch up again this evening. Until then, ciao, ciao. And as always, stay crypto.